And a good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Luke Laster here from the Wood TV Live Desk. About to go here in just a moment. The Michigan State Capitol Commission expecting to vote today on open carry of firearms in the Capitol building. Our sister station, WLNS in Lansing, has some more information on that. This is where the stream's coming from. Let's take it live.
Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Chair Randall,
Here.
Vice Chair Truscott,
Here.
Commissioner Bauer,
Here.
Commissioner Charkoff,
Here.
Commissioner Candler, Commissioner O'Brien.
Here.
All members are in attendance. Would like to point out to members that January the 25th, Monday, January the 25th, is by order of the rules, the meeting where we must meet in odd-numbered years and elect officers for the commission. So members, please make sure that's on your calendar. It's January the 25th at 11 a.m. Let's move now to the first and only item on today's agenda. Members and those of interest in this issue will remember that it's not new to the commission. We have for over a year been looking at the problems that might arise out of the carrying of firearms in the Capitol building. We have discussed at length the issue, and as you remember, I appointed 2 members of the commission to serve as a special investigative committee to look at the issues and what's involved with moving forward with a ban on firearms. With that kind of as a backdrop, I would like to recognize Bill Candler. Bill and John Truscott were the 2 members who did extensive due diligence on this issue. Bill Candler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to offer a amendment to our procedures. You all have copies of it. And basically, the language of this amendment would ban the open carry of weapons in the Capitol building. Need a second?
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
We have a motion and second. Let's move to discussion. Is there any further discussion? Chair recognizes Commissioner Candler.
First thing, Mr. Chairman, I should mention is in the note at the top of the page, there needs to be a change. This rule actually should go in Section 3, not Section 2. That was a typo, my fault, but it should be Section 3, not 2. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of background as to how we got to this point. Again, you may all recall that as of just before last May, we had no idea we would be dealing with the issue of guns in the Capitol building. I just really always thought that it was something that was only a legislative issue, because I was thinking of legislation. Turns out, as the Attorney General's opinion instructed us, this is not really legislation. It's just within the power of the Capitol Commission to determine what could come in the building. So once we wrapped our arms around that concept, we decided to take a deep look at what exactly that meant for us. And Commissioner Truscott and I spent quite a bit of time trying to understand how security in buildings works, how we could implement things, what could work in the Capitol building that's similar to other buildings. We looked at Supreme Court security. And after we reviewed all the implementation aspects, all the infrastructure requirements, we determined that the extreme limit of our real authority to actually implement something was to implement a ban on open carry. We have no authority to implement the infrastructure to go beyond that at this point. We have no budget to do it. We're not experts in security. So this proposal would just ban open carry in the Capitol building. And it's really, I think, something that the Commission has spent a lot of time. We didn't come to this conclusion lightly, but we think this is the best and most honest policy for us to implement now.
Thank you, Bill. Yes, Commissioner Truscott.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I want to thank Commissioner Candler for his work on this. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with him on an issue that's pretty contentious and has a lot of people on a lot of sides all giving us their opinions, which we've taken into account. But Commissioner Candler was able to work through this and come up with language that I think is certainly acceptable to us, and I think also relevant for the times that we're in, and I think he's done fantastic work on this, and I want to thank him for that.
I'd like to echo that, and to both of you, John, you also. I think that probably you spent in excess of 500 hours working on this issue, and it is truly appreciated. For further discussion, the chair recognizes Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the public doesn't have the luxury of seeing the motion that's in front of us that was written out thoughtfully by Commissioner Candler. So I'm wondering if, one, we can read the motion for the new procedure, so especially for our viewing audience at home can see it, and then I would like to make a comment after the reading of that procedure.
Yes, Bill, would you read the motion?
This is the new procedure in the Capitol Commission's procedure manual. No person may carry a firearm in the public areas inside the Michigan State Capitol building. Exceptions to this include the Michigan State Police, Capitol Security Officers, Sergeants at Arms of the Michigan Senate or House of Representatives, law enforcement officers licensed by the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards in the performance of their official duties, if the officer is in uniform or otherwise properly identified, and a person with a valid concealed pistol license, a CPL, issued by any state who is carrying a weapon in compliance with the Michigan CPL regulations. And let me just add a little editorial thing. That last sentence is to make sure we're not trying to argue that if you have a CPL license, then you're okay to carry, open carry. We didn't want that loophole to be there, so we just want to make sure that was clear.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the public at home that's viewing this know exactly what we were discussing, because I really did appreciate the fact that you provided this in writing and gave it to us today. Senator Majority Leader Shirkey's been clear on his position to ban the open carry of weapons in the Capitol. I just want to thank him for his discussion on this issue and his willingness to publicly support this motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Bauer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, too, am pleased that we're at this point today in making a first step toward dealing with gun issues as they affect our Capitol. And I would just ask and like to clarify, Mr. Candler, this is going to affect immediately.
It would be effective as soon as we enact it, correct?
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Chartkov, do you have any comments?
No, I appreciate the hard work that Mr. Trescott and Mr. Candler have put into this issue. I think it's been one of the most difficult ones to ever confront either the Capitol Commission or its predecessor, the Capitol Committee. I have personally received thousands of emails on this issue, many of them extremely well-written and well thought out, both pro and con, but I would say that in general, folks out in the public are very interested in this issue and have strong feelings about it, and most of the emails would support the motion that the commission is taking today. Many of them would like us to go further, but I think we all recognize that this is a very important first step, perhaps, and I want to thank you all. I do want to clarify that, as was mentioned by Mr. Candler, that these procedures will go into the section of the procedures for the use of the Capitol, which are readily available to any person entering the building if they wish a copy. I believe they're also online. And it should be placed in section 3 of the Capitol's procedures, conditions governing public interior areas of the Capitol. It does not affect the Capitol grounds.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Any further discussion? Yes, Mr. Candler.
Just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. Since Commissioner Truscott was so gracious as to thank me, and I was pretty negligent in not thanking him. He did probably more work even than I did on this. We worked well together, and John carried quite a bit of the load. And thank you, John, for all the work, and thank you for your gracious comments.
If there's no further discussion, Madam Secretary, will you call the roll on the Candler amendment?
Chair Randall,
Yes.
Vice Chair Trescott,
Yes.
Commissioner Bauer,
Yes,
Commissioner Chartkoff,
Yes,
Commissioner Candler,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Brien.
Yes.
A unanimous vote. The motion is adopted. I guess just in conclusion, it's been alluded to throughout our discussion today that we have gone as far as I think the commission can go with the issue at the present time. Certainly it's an issue that can be revisited, but I think we've made a significant step toward ensuring the safety of all who come to this Capitol building. And again, I thank you, commissioners, for your due diligence, your hard work, and your commitment. With that, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn. Pardon? Oh, yes. Public comment was solicited in the notice of the committee meeting, and we will accept emails and letters that will become part of the public comment and the public record. With that, the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Support.
We have a motion and a second. Without objection, the secretary will attach a unanimous roll call on adjournment. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate your input and your participation. The meeting is adjourned.